Okay, so the next thing we need to consider are those landing pages within your site. What we do not want to do is to send people to our homepage. Ideally, we want to make sure that we have a specific page on our site for each of our specialisms. And that might be one for anxiety, one for depression. It might be one for each of the specific areas in which you specialize. And this has very strong benefits in Google's eyes, as well as being much more likely to convert the person when they land on your page. You will get much more response. You're much more likely to see the lead convert and pick up the phone or fill in a form and actually be willing to give you money if you go to the care of taking this step. And ideally you will want a landing page set up for each. So a landing page on your site for each of the specialisms you're offering, and making sure that you include the main keyword ideally as a heading at the top of the page, and then possibly once or twice throughout the page as well, within the copy, within the text. So let's say we are going to have a landing page for Anxiety Therapist Birmingham. We might say at the top of the page, "Are you looking for an anxiety therapist in Birmingham?" ? Now that heading has the benefit that the person lands on your page and immediately says mentally to themselves, yes, I'm in the right place. It also has the benefit that Google will look at your landing page and see it matches the keywords. And as a result, they will give you a higher quality score. Now, this quality score is a metric, and it is the sole determinant for how much you pay for every single click versus your competitors. So if you do a really great job with this, with really relevant landing pages, and you get lots of good clicks because you're really good at writing your ads, you will have a high quality score versus your competitors, and you will pay less for every single click than your competitors. So it's incredibly important to take some time to make sure that you do this. Now, on your landing page, you want to make sure that you've got multiple ways for them to contact you. Do not just have a telephone number, or do not just have a web form, or do not just have an appointment scheduler. What we want to do is give people multiple ways they can contact us. And that's because we don't know whether these people are in work, we don't know whether these people can't currently talk. We want to give people the option of calling immediately or filling in a form with a little message where they can actually book in or request a specific time. For example, I don't particularly like arranging appointments via the telephone. I'd much rather fill in a form, or if there's an email listed on the page, I will email that email address and instead request the appointment and then show up at the scheduled time. There are people that want to convert in different ways, so we are doing this for the purposes of the people, because we'll get more conversions, but also in Google's eyes as well for quality score. So let's just go and take a quick look now at an example page that I pulled up to have a look through. So you can see that this one is set up as an anxiety landing page. It's got some blurb about anxiety here. Possibly, I mean, I'm not entirely sure if all of this is specifically relevant. I would suspect you could probably cut out a lot of this text here. So, symptoms of anxiety, blah, 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 blah. Can this particular type of therapy help for anxiety? If you are only bidding on keywords anxiety therapist and town name, etc., you might not want to jump straight into your particular type of therapy because it might put off people that weren't looking for that. However, should you really want to lead with that in the landing page, absolutely go for it. This section is possibly a bit too, I wouldn't be including this. It's possibly a little bit too difficult, the reading language within it. So I'd be shortening this landing page. I do like the fact they have an option to book the appointment. I do like the fact that they've got a contact us form for people to fill it in. I also do like the fact that they have a telephone number and you can also SMS for an appointment. So that's why I picked up this one to show you. Now, to make this landing page better, what I would be tempted to do is maybe include a couple of anonymous testimonials. You could always include just the person's first name or anonymous, genuine quotes from past customers. Feel free to seek their permission should you want to, although of course if it's anonymized then it's not actually going to be so much of an issue. But testimonials are very much a good idea and will help you sell the lead here. So something I would also be, if it's your personal site, and I imagine in your cases many of it would be, I'd be also including a picture of you smiling and maybe something about your background on here as well. So this is an example of a landing page. It's actually, I did find it quite interesting I looked around for a few landing pages to pull up as an example. Not that many in this area do a great job of this. So if you follow these instructions and go through and listen to this video a couple of times, and then work on getting all of this on your landing page, the description of how you can help, description of how you can help with anxiety, picture of you, testimonials, web form, telephone number, etc., etc. If you had all of that, you will be leading the therapists amongst your market, because when I looked through a number of towns, I could not find any particularly great examples. This one, which is a fairly big company, I believe, even they did an okayish job, but even this I would only estimate it's about a 5 out of 10. I'd be able to get the conversions up far higher by working on it with them, for example. Okay, so now an extra thing that I wanted to point out to you is, please, if you're struggling with the concept of building a landing page and is that the stopping you, please go to somewhere like People Per Hour, which is a website where you can hire people on an hourly basis or on a job basis. So peopleperhour.com, you could hire somebody for 3 or 4 hours, £100 or so, who could fix this, who could set up the landing pages for you. Especially if you've got a WordPress site, really easy to do. You'd just be able to, every time you wanted to add a new specialism in, you'd be able to just clone an existing page and set up the page according to however you wanted to. Please don't struggle with this alone and let technical things get in the way. Hire somebody to do it for you. Much, much easier rather than struggling through this. And so cheap these days by going to one of these websites like People Per Hour or Upwork, or if you've got a personal preference such as maybe you might prefer Fiverr or similar. Okay, so presuming that you're going to have landing pages to be able to move forward to the next stage, because we will need to be sending people to the landing pages, Google will spider those landing pages, as in it will check its spiders to crawl the page, look at the text on it, and it will then decide what score to give you, this quality score. So it is important that you have an acceptable page for moving forward. That's not to say that you couldn't set it up with just the basic homepage for now and see some leads. I've had some clients to go ahead and do that, but you'll get far better responses if you take the time to set up the landing pages. Okay, so onwards and upwards. Bye for now.